Apparently, a lot of people in America are not happy with their living situations, their loan situations, their debt situations, their credit card situations. So I want to find out, I want to investigate what is going on and see if it's all true. See what problems people are having in today's economy specifically. Because I don't believe it. I think we're all just living a happy life in America, right? Can you believe that? Let's buckle up, folks, and get into the first video.
Can someone explain to me how these apartment complexes expect anyone to be able to pay rent? I'm moving in June because I'm going to grad school and I can't afford to live like where I actually need to live. So I was looking at like the next town over basically. And, I was like, okay, I feel like $1,400 to $1,500 is an appropriate amount for rent in the area that I'm looking at. So I'll look in that range, right? There is nothing. There is nothing. Unless I want to live right next to like Cracktown, there's literally nothing. So I was like, okay, let me take the rent up to like max 1,600. Yeah, no, still no. Even when the rent gets to 1,600, there's like $200 of fees every month. So your total cost of living there is like super high, and they don't tell you unless you call or unless you already applied. And then they're like, yeah, well, we know that the rent says 1,400, but it's actually gonna cost you almost 17. Oh, sorry. I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's no ideal situation. There's no affordable rent where you're not living in basically a crack neighborhood. Far be it from us to ask that we live in a safe neighborhood that we could afford. It always has to be, either an affordable place where there's drug deals and scams going on and a lot of dangerous things happening, or you could take a shot at what seemingly is an ideal rate to pay for rent, but it turns out that, on the back end, it is actually more expensive than what they're actually marketing. Can these realtors work with us for a second? Can they realize what situation we're dealing with? I guess not.
Nearly everyone I've talked to recently is just like, yeah, haha, I can't really afford groceries. Guess I just have to cut it down to 2 meals a day, and groceries are a little too much. Gotta see like how long I can get my food to last me. That's not a. Why are we casually being like, yeah, we can't afford groceries? I can't. I literally eat like 2 meals a day. I barely eat out. I don't order stuff. I eat like 2 meals a day. Sometimes I'll just have a nap for dinner because I just can't keep buying groceries. Like, you're telling us all of us have jobs, and the people specifically I was talking to have, like, well-paying jobs, and we all just still can't afford groceries. I mean, we're single people living on our own, so, like, there's rent. But besides for just paying for rent, you should also be able to afford to live, to eat, to feed yourself, and we literally can't do that right now.
I remember when I was a kid living in the Section 8 project neighborhood, and, I had a similar living situation like this, but this wasn't considered the norm. Now, this is the norm. I think, and to this lady's point, she said that we were joking about, struggling. I remember, like, a few years back, I thought it was, like, kind of funny, because the trendy thing to joke about was, like, having depression and being sad. And now it just seems like, we sort of manifested those, struggles upon ourselves.
Can I show y'all what Chase Bank just offered me? So they were like, if you pay $38,000, we'll give you a loan of $722 on top of that. So a total of $760, right? Interest rate, 6.75%. Estimated APR, 6.847%. That means that after a year, just in the APR, I will have to pay so much more than my down payment. Like 5% the down payment, so I don't like what, 42 something thousand dollars just yearly, and all that for a monthly payment as low as $46.83 a month. So for almost 60 grand a year, that would be the mortgage on a house. 60 grand a year. Wait, that's a 30-year mortgage. So that means this would be over 30 years. Every year this would be collected. Wonder what the total is. This is how much it would actually cost. Just. And they were like, you're pre-qualified for this offer. Yeah, you're trying to kill me.
Yeah, I don't believe that these loans that these credit card companies give to people, I don't think they're for the normal person. Looking at these numbers, like, you basically sign your life away to slavery at that point. You're living to just pay this debt off. Like, this is very predatory. This is what the definition of a predatory loan. Like, if someone's not really good with numbers and they're thinking that, oh, they're just going to get some free money and then maybe a few years down the line they could just pay it off. But no, this is terrible. Do not get into a debt like this. I hope you guys, if you guys take any message from this, do not get into a debt of this size.
This is a real conversation that I had with one of my friends when I was in university about her credit card, and I still think about this once a week. I have to pay off my credit card. It's like $700 this month. That sucks. What do you mean your credit card bill is $700? Like, I just bought all my textbooks and stuff, so I have to pay off my credit card. Like, it's $700. My credit card bill has never been over $10. What? Yeah, like you only have to pay the $10. What do you mean what do you mean you're only paying $10? Like, every month you get the bill and you only have to pay $10. It doesn't matter how much you put on. It's literally, you just have to pay the $10. How long have you had this credit card for? Since first year? We're in our third year. Do people not know that? Do people not know that? People of TikTok, people of the internet, just know, like, please, just pay in full. Pay in full.
Yeah, this is the type of stuff that they neglectfully don't teach in schools. Credit card debt is bad. I hope people aren't thinking that you're just getting free money all the time from these credit cards. Like, and $10, if that, is the minimum payment. Like, you have to pay more than that eventually, or else the interest rates are just gonna eat you alive. They should have taught this in schools. I think the average person should be able to be knowledgeable of this, but it's almost as if they do it on purpose. They don't tell you about this debt that you put yourself in on purpose. That might be my own conspiracy theory mind working at play. But let's see what we have next.
I guess I'm about to be a carless girl. What the fuck is going on with the car insurance rates in the United States of America? I just received a text from Geico about an hour ago saying that I owed a bill or was going to be charged $520 on June 8th. $520. I called them. I said, what is this charge for? I'm a little confused. I pay 6 months for my premium. What is this $520 charge? She said, oh no, that's your new monthly rate. That is your new monthly rate, $520 for car insurance. That is more than the car payment on my lease. How do I cancel? How do I cancel my car insurance? I don't need to drive anymore. $520. I do not drive a luxury vehicle. I'm in a Honda HR-V. I am not paying nearly $1,000 a month to be driving on the road in my Honda HR-V before gas, before maintenance, before anything else. I already cried about this and I'm done crying about it. My next steps are to call Honda, figure out how I return my lease, pay whatever penalty or whatever else I owe on that, and then cut it loose.
I like the way that she's going about that. She's just washing her hands from the debt. It's better to just sell the car, take that loss, than to get into that lifelong debt of, oh man. Imagine having an increase of a payment that you have to make every single month to that extent. These predatory people, they get you into deals and then there's like some sort of adjustable rate that they can just sort of manipulate down the line when they have you already in the clutches of their deal. Nah, that's not helpful to the average person, no. Especially in this economy, no. You can't be doing that. We got to learn more about these kind of concepts, I feel. I think people aren't knowledgeable before they sort of sign their life away to these kinds of deals. And, things aren't roses and blossoms. I messed that line up. But you know what I'm saying.
Can somebody explain to me in crayon eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live? And I do not want to hear the pull yourself up from your bootstraps, work 90 hours a week. That's not the goal, guys. That should not be our standard. I am so fucking tired of people being complacent with this uniparty, both of them fucking us over. When my parents were my age, they both made less than half of what I make and they lived alone. I cannot afford to live anywhere alone. A 1-bedroom apartment, $1,800. 2-bedroom apartment, $2,200. Who the fuck can afford that? It is embarrassing to come out and say that it is a struggle to survive right now, but I know so many people are struggling. And do not get me started on what my grandparents were doing. They $3,000 house. And yes, I understand inflation and all of the bullshit that they have been pulling with the Fed. Why are we allowing it? Why? And then I clock out of my shift. I am tired. I have to go home. And I check the news. Another 60 fucking billion to a country nobody can point out on a map. What are we doing? Where has the plot gone? We have lost it, folks. We have fucking lost it. The American dream is dead. It is over. Gone and forgotten.
Yeah, I think a lot of people share the same sentiment. It seems like back in the day, it was a lot easier to pay for a livable life with much less. And now, I think everyone when they were younger, they had this idea, well, if my parents could live together and only have one parent working in the household, taking care of two people at least, then maybe in the future, if I'm living by myself, it would be a lot easier. I could afford to live by myself and probably even treat myself to even more with the surplus amount of cash that I would have. But that's not the case. Let's see.
Next 12 to 18 months will be the final nail in the coffin of the middle class. The reality is, if you're waiting for interest rates to drop, they're not going to happen this year. And if they do one cut towards the end of the year, that's just political. And most likely interest rates will continue to go up next year. You see, here's the thing. There's no longer such a thing as affordable. Nothing is going to be affordable, especially houses. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you cannot afford a house today, you're never going to be able to afford it tomorrow. And many people will tell you that after a period of increased interest rates, it's usually followed by a recession. But generally, during a recession, usually people lose a lot of jobs. And for those that tell me to follow the numbers, I would just like to remind you that 300,000 jobs created is not the same as 300,000 jobs filled. By the time home prices come down and that recession hits, you're not going to have any money to even buy a house.
That is very daunting. That was very doom and gloomy, not gonna lie. Yeah, and I mean, if what this guy is saying is true, I would suggest everyone pay their debts off, because if those interest rates go any higher, I think a lot of people are just going to get screwed by the pooch at that point. Yeah, there's no coming back from whatever situation would happen. Just everyone defaulting on their debts. There would have to be some sort of, you know what? Is this how they roll in UBI? The universal basic income idea that has been floating around, which would, is a concept of, I guess, socialism, which is probably not a direction that we want to go in, seeing as, what happened to Venezuela. At that point, there would be no incentive to work at all if there was a UBI. That's kind of scary to think about. What do we have next?
Arlington, Virginia, had the audacity to tell me that if I renewed this lease for 3 months, it would be $10,300 a month. If you don't believe me, here's proof. $10,300 for a 3-month lease to live in Arlington, Virginia. Well, let me show you around. Tell me if you think it's worth it. Okay, let's start from the beginning. First bathroom. This is the cat's bathroom. I don't use this one. The den, which is a movie room. Oh, there's one of the cats. Walk into the kitchen, bedroom. I just sold a bunch of stuff. Bathroom, closet. It's really not big. This closet is like only enough for one person. Living room. It gets a good amount of sunlight at this hour, but if it's not this hour, it's pretty dark. Here it is from this view. I just did all of that today. It's a pretty big balcony and my egg chair. And this is the view. Also, it's not very peaceful because you have to listen to that AC all night and all day, like on the balcony. But yeah, do you think that's worth $10,300 a month to live in Arlington, Virginia? I don't.
Yeah, I think that is the landlord's way of telling you to not renew your lease on the apartment. No, just saying. That is an insane increase, not gonna lie. But that was a very expensive looking apartment. I think, some people would say like 4,000 is too high for that. I think that's just about right. 4,000. It reminds me of those Miami high rises, you know. I don't know why it gave me that vibe, but it was a safe neighborhood. That alone, being a safe-ish looking neighborhood, is, you know, enough to, in today's day and age, is enough to warrant a price increase. And, you know, that is so crazy to even think that would come out my mouth. You know, increase the rent for safety, basic safety. But that was the last video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I think this investigation sort of clarified that, you know, people have good reason to be angry about today's economy and their renting situations, their debt situations, their credit card situations. Sometimes it is, you know, I feel that it is on the fault of the actual person signing into these loans and not doing their research into what they're actually getting into. You know, there's both sides of the situation. Two sides to the story. Takes two to tango. But, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You know, what are your guys' situations, and what do you plan to do to get out of these situations? Or if you're even in one, if you used to be in one, if you plan to get into one, let me know. And I hope you guys enjoy this video, and have a good day.